And we're live with the fourth game of the day, kicking things off with a replay from the third round matchup with Torpedo facing off against the angry Pikachus here. Both teams on the move, and should be an interesting one to watch, as we couldn't quite see the picks and bans, unfortunately, as replay didn't close into them. But we're thankful that we can at least get into the game so far.
Yeah, count your blessings on that one, because today it's been a bit of a struggle in terms of getting you all clear, smooth content. But so far, it's looking like it'll most of the game will be unimpacted or unaffected by the other server issues. So I think we should be fine from here. But nonetheless, Angry Pikachus versus Torpedo. Angry Pikachus again is a kind of dark horse team in a sense, where they came from the bottom and moved their way all pretty far up. No one really expected it either. So really, really good to see them come up against a team like Torpedoes, and hopefully we'll get a good game.
Yeah, they've got a lot of potential to on the side of Angry Pikachus, but at the same time, Torpedo has looked incredibly strong coming into this week. They had a very good showing in the group stages, from what I've heard, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of these matches. And they've had a really good showing in some of the weeks leading up to this one, although they did get knocked out in the last week. Torpedo is formerly a Team Instinct here, and a lot of the roster before are a lot of members of the Night's Watch here. So this is a very, very interesting team to watch. Angry Pikachus have a pretty big mountain to climb here, but we've seen a lot of teams come over this mountain before in the Challengers Cups weeks leading up to this point, so it's not impossible, but it's definitely a task that they're going to have to come up to.
So, a couple of interesting things to know. One, ISIS, no purple bottom. That's something that we're used to seeing on pretty much every ISIS we see in-game. Another interesting thing to note, Neith being played this game. She's not actually all that popular. Usually people elect for hi-rez, Rama, Xbalanque, I mean, heck, we've seen it on here before we've seen it Neith, so that's a bit surprising. Not unusual, just surprising. And then, of course, the Chaac versus Hell matchup.
And another surprising thing is that there are no, well, aside from a Cupid, there aren't any major ADC bans. This was an ADC that was opted into as part of a team choice, most likely. And I mean, Moex is a fairly solid Neith player, so it's not surprising to see this one come out here. And like I said, the Chaac versus Hell matchup, you just see Hell banned out in these plays, so Angry Pikachus have a ticking time bomb that they can hurl at Torpedo the later the game goes on. So Torpedo are going to sink this game as soon as they can.
So now, making their way into the middle lane is going to be the junglers with the mid laners. Agni not going to be able to be too aggressive. However, he does need to be careful. I was going to say, if that stun had landed first, I'm a little actually surprised to see Lace didn't go for the stun a little bit sooner. That could have actually been very, very helpful if he had done that. But if that stun had landed first, then that would have been a very dead Agni.
That would have been a very, very dead Agni. And it's always not nice to be an Agni in this matchup here, but so far Korinyo having a decent time with help of NinjaBobat in these fights. So all in all, so far Torpedo's mid lane hasn't come under too much fire and hasn't been pressured out fully just yet. As NinjaBobat actually looking to make a quick move over towards JustLofes right here. And Lofes, we've seen him carry hard in a Chronos before, and playing these hyper carries, he seems to do a lot of work here. As Lofes actually having a lot of trouble here against Gamehunter. Gamehunter putting a lot of pressure on this lane, but NinjaBobat likely to not find any kind of engagement here unless Lofes does end up progressing forward, but he's going to take the safe route and back off just in time.
Yeah, NinjaBobat basically is going to just be looking to get level 5. In fact, that was probably the plan, is that he was going to reach level 5 after this wave, and nope, actually wasn't. So, just a little short on that one.
Oh, but Thor isn't. Yeah, Lace definitely is not short on XP, and there we go, landing onto his target. Gonna get a great catch here. This could be the end of Moex, but Moex is a backflip away. They're still on the hunt as the Tiger Stun not quite landing. WolfOfEloStreet finds a land there, but the grab and the Spirit Arrow combo not quite landing together. There's now Korinyo making the rotation. He's got the Meteor combo if he can find it. Now the students will catch the two. Bushyyy in danger as Darzer being aggressed on right now. But Korinyo raining meteors from above, trying to find his best damage he can. Dodges away from the Spirit Ball just in time, and now Torpedo gonna be on the aggressive here as Pikachus look to get out of dodge as quickly as they can.
Now over in the solo lane, NinjaBobat is able to find the kill onto JustLofes with a combined effort of Neith, Gamehunter on Chaac, and of course his own efforts. Finding that solo kill, very important for them. They need to make sure that they keep Hell down as long as possible just to ensure their best potential to make it in the late game without too much difficulty dealing with this Hell.
and that's the best way to handle it. Just make sure you push through this lead and keep the hell down, but don't focus too much on only pressuring the solo lane here. You've got to work on translating as fast as you can here. That's going to be a Meteor securing this mid game for Torpedo, and so far, so good. The objective game has been going solidly in their favor right now.
So now we're seeing everybody just kind of get to a relaxed point in the game yet again. But at the same time, I feel like Torpedo feels a bit more confident, especially with the Darkest of Nights being used there just to try and get Xbalanque back into lane. And Pikachus is starting to pull out a lot of stops just to stay relevant in the game.
And that's exactly what you have to do in this point. You got to start playing the stops. You got to start playing a few tricks. But Sam, you have to ask the question. This is just the group stages here. How much are you willing to pull out and reveal as the Anchor Pikachus here? I mean, we haven't done some pick bans yet, but how much are you willing to pull out strategy-wise at this point?
You know, that's a question that kind of varies from person to person. I mean, let's say if I was the coach, I honestly feel like I am a very vanilla coach in the sense that I say, okay, we have our strategy. We know our strategy. We're not looking to trick you. We're going to be better than you. That's the mentality I had, you know, that's the mentality I had in, say, football. That's the mentality I think I had in a lot of things, is that don't try to get too fancy with it. Stay to the basics, be good at the basics, and then use those as your stepping stone to make great plays. Basically, if I had to give an example, I am the C9 mentality, whereas you probably are a bit different.
Yeah, that's a very fair thing to say here. Is now Gamehunter actually going to find a kill in the solo lane. Once again, his LofEs going to be pressured out by a Neith arrow, and Torpedo having a solid show of things around the map right now. And this is just the Torpedo show. It seems Darzer once again aggressive. Korinyo claims a kill in the mid lane, finding revenge for that early aggression he took in the lane. And now, all in all, Torpedo off to a solid start. 2,000 gold, trending in their favor.
Oh, but in the solo lane, that's going to be another kill. That's going to be another kill on JustLofes, who's running around. Maybe another kill. Chaac has to wait for it. He can't exactly take the tower, but yep, guarantees the kill, and then walks his very low butt out of the tower.
They're going to be getting out of tower just fine. So far, Torpedo setting up 4-0 here. Anchor Pikachus, they've got to find something soon enough. So, in their shoe, Shadow Boy, we talked about what you were trying to pull out strategy with. What do you think they're able to do with their current team comps to win condition?
Torpedo?
Anchor Pikachu. What can you make your comeback? What's your win condition right now?
Late game.
All right.
I mean, okay,
we've seen it. Yeah, we've seen hell do it.
Yeah, like two of the 5 characters are just phenomenal late game performers. That's just the nature of the characters. I mean, Hell, of course, having the AoE heal, making her the better of the two choices of Aphrodite and Hell, in my opinion. Just the fact that she can do it to everybody makes her really strong, because now you can't just isolate one target. You have to deal with the whole thing, or just deal with Hell by herself. But speaking of dealing with, Lace is able to deal with Mox, as Mox is able to respond accordingly and find a kill onto the Thor as well. But Agni's still here, gonna get the burn damage. Yes, TheBushyyy is gonna be taken out.
Yeah, Bushy going to get burned out of this one. I suppose the more realistic question there, Shadow Boy, was actually, what do you do to get to your late game? Because, I mean, we kind of knew that it was Hell and Bushy on a Xbalanque. This is the late game domination team comp right here. The more realistic thing is, like, how do you get there at this point?
So a couple of things you have to do is, one, you have to look for the overload potential. I preach it every week because that's really one of the easiest ways to do it. You're basically looking for plays that are in your favor. They don't have a lot of global presence on the side of Torpedo. I mean, they do have the Neith Spirit Arrow, of course, but outside of that, not a lot they can do there to a Thor Ultimate and Darkest of Nights. It's really hard to do, especially if you combine that with Isis, who is able to use a stun ball, is able to use a silence. I mean, she's such a high utility character that if you combine your efforts with her in the middle lane, you could possibly find something. It's going to be a bit more difficult now, but you have to always be conscious of where your opportunities are.
JustLofes actually probably going to die here. Silence does come on through from Gamehunter. He's on the hunt, but Darkest of Nights actually going to prevent the kill, but not for long, as Gamehunter on point with that final axe toss. LofEs nowhere to run but away, but unfortunately you can't escape the slaughterhouse, it seems, as Gamehunter living up to his name is now Korinyo looking for the flank as well. Darzer might not want to be here now. Neith arrow coming on through. Meteor and Noxious Beam combo. NinjaBobat finds the first. Mox secures the kill. Now BigManTingz trying to survive for now, but support Sun Wukong not too much longer for the world. Will make it up to his ivory cloud right there. However, Oh, there's plenty of party waiting around for him. Will escape, as he does have Lace to back him up here. Goes airborne, looking for the dunk. Gamehunter knows it's incoming, dodges away, looks to trace on back with the axe toss. Does make his way out as WolfOfEloStreet provides the safety net, and that will be an escape. Gamehunter here, Korinyo also getting out as well. This should be a quick escape for Torpedo, and they're going to lose nothing for their aggression right now, it seems.
No, they're not going to lose anything because there's just not enough. There's just not enough response coming out from the guys on Angry Pikachu's. Torpedo been a really forward group. They have been looking for anything they want. I mean, look at Neith right now, just casually walking through the enemy jungle. And I like these wards because it gives you an idea of where the enemy team is at all times. It honestly is the reason that some people like to sentry ward in their back part of the jungle when they are losing, because they know that there is vision back there. They have to deal with that.
You have to deal with it, and you cannot afford to distance. Now Korinyo actually going to barely dodge away from that one as things got dicey and close. Now Darzer does have the beats for safety, but you can't beat away from everything. We'll see the Fear No Evil right into Korinyo's raising hands right there as he clutches down another kill. Torpedo making moves as a team, playing as a team, and this is a roster that we knew they had this potential here, and they're really fully living up to it at this point here. Angry Pikachu, they have a complete mountain now, and they're not quite able to climb here. His Lace caught out alone. Neith arrow does connect. He does find the teleport. NinjaBobat on the hunt, but going to back off before he gets a bit too aggressive and hypey here. Now Torpedo looking around the Gold Fury, trying to lure in members of Angry Pikachu's right here. Trying to pull away that vision thanks to the ward, but they do need to start clearing these out as soon as they can if they want to get control of this game. But it's one thing we can praise Angry Pikachu's for. Their ward control is still fairly solid right now.
Yeah, Angry Pikachu's not sacrificing their vision just because they're behind, which is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. If you sacrifice your vision, you're basically suggesting that, okay, well, we don't have any control of the game, and we don't want to try and best to have control of the game. That, and as odd as that sounds, as maybe harsh as that sounds, that's honestly the way it is. If you don't keep vision, you have no swing back potential. You have very little chance to get back into the game. So I like the fact that they're still warding. I like the fact that they're still paying attention to where these rotations are coming out, especially since they do have a bit more of an advantage in the global presence. And I like the fact that they're going all in on NinjaBobat here, trying to get a kill opportunity. Berserker Barrage, and there it is. That's going to be a kill, going over to Darzer, securing it with a auto attack, unfortunately for Lace. But nonetheless, getting a kill in the Angry Pikachu's pocket is a good start. I think if they keep this process up, they might be able to do a bit more with it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you keep doing. You need to find kills, find picks, find objectives. As Korinyo gonna get bursted incredibly hard by Lace right there. And if, well, Angry Pikachu can keep this up and just completely dominate the map ward-wise like this, even with the mechanics, even with the rotation play so far, Torpedo, they're going to struggle versus Angry Pikachus if they don't find a way to get some kind of vision control on the map right now and actually start putting it to use.
So over in the middle lane, actually a huge discrepancy between Agni and Isis. That's actually going to be one of the biggest issues that not Torpedo, but Angry Pikachu runs into, is that Darzer is only level 11 versus the Korinyo, who is actually level 13, reaching closer to 14. That's going to be a huge impact once Gold Fury starts becoming a question, because that's your AoE mace that we're talking about. So with that huge of a difference, you're talking about Agni being able to just bomb, and then Isis just kind of tickling a little bit with her Wing Gust or her, stun ball.
And tickles, like, it's not a kind of feeling you want to experience. It's not the kind of thing you want to be doing. You want to be doing these huge chunks of damage. You want to be absolutely ripping people apart with these Wing Gusts. But right now, especially behind, Darzer is going to be, doing it. He's going to be tickling with every kind of damage. The Wing Gust will be a fart in the wind, basically. Not really much of anything.
So now we look over at the dual lane where it looks like a lot of pressure is coming out. Thor might want to go up into the air, but he's actually going to elect to not do so. They don't feel confident in that fight, and rightfully so.
And rightfully so, right here. They can't really afford to go for these super risky fights. They want to start looking for these picks as Torpedo. They've still got enough of a lead to just muscle over the Angry Pikachu if they want to, but not enough of one to really be able to force out something as Gold Fury. But unfortunately, the positioning of Angry Pikachu, catching them all out of position, your Torpedo will actually walk away with his Gold Fury for free almost as Angry Pikachu. Wrong time to back, and a great call there from Torpedo.
Yeah, this is one of the advantages of just being very aware of what your enemy team is doing, but here comes the damage. That's going to be Neith's Spirit Arrow as Batz is able to use the Fear No Evil. They're chasing on Neith, but they should have focused on BigManTingz, who was able to get out into his ultimate, and now it's just a matter of a full retreat. Clone is the only thing chasing into the enemy territory of Torpedo.
It's the only thing I can really afford to chase that far, as it's not really got that much to give away by dying right there. As now we see another fight breaking out. Lace needs to teleport away. BigManTingz might try to flank here. Will find Moex as the rest of the team looks to engage, but Moex might actually turn this one around. Backflips away, but he does need to beads as the Dark Night Stun did connect onto him. Now we'll see Gamehunter looking to return to the streets, as he is sitting in base right now and will start to move out as he needs to get there soon. WolfOfEloStreet so low. Korinyo has that stun potential here. It's a full 5 versus 5 here. WolfOfEloStreet so low. The heals will be doing work right now, keeping the rest of the Angry Pikachus alive. With a burst, if they try to go for it, will work wonders for Torpedo. They've got a way into this thing to find some kind of crowd control. Angry Pikachu, they're doing a great job of just keeping the shell up and keeping the breaches sealed. No way in, but they might have finally found it here. BigManTingz takes a chunk of damage right there, but quickly healed back up by Lofes. The siege is afoot, and Angry Pikachu poking away at the tower and tearing it down brick by brick so far. As now, they've got what they wanted. They're spreading out for objectives.
Yeah, I don't see them actually progressing too much further into that tier 1 tower. It's just a bit too much to ask for, especially with Agni having an advantage like he does. They're going to have to just go ahead and look for a bit more safe opportunities. It's not realistic for them to just muscle anywhere in when you're 5k down in gold. But Ice is going to be able to clear out this middle wave. Meanwhile, Hell over in the right side of the map just going to try and push it back up, as it is a little far up into their own territory. Whew, excuse me. And that's pretty much, pretty much the goal of the entirety of Angry Pikachus right now, is just keep themselves relevant to where they can't just get muscled out in a lot of objectives. Gold Fury, they got sneaked out of, but didn't get muscled out of.
So far, they've been doing a decent job of not getting muscled away like he's a Shadow Boy, but it's going to get harder and harder for them to stay out of, in a position where they won't get muscled out here, especially as they're reaching a point in the mid-game where they're not quite at that late-game point they want. They don't have the kills on XBalanque, they don't have the power, but Torpedo are hitting some massive spikes right about now. That's going to be the hard thing to fight off here. NinjaBobat's going to be a monster in these team fights. He's got so many ways in. Will land a stun onto him at the bare edge right there, and a great shot from Darzer doing work, but Bobat incredibly tanky right now, so he's not going to, well, not incredibly tanky, not taking too much damage from that Spirit Ball at all, as now BigManTingz looking for a way around, finds the Tiger Stun running to Bobat, but Bobat, he's got teams of his own right here. A quick grab from the WolfOfEloStreet right into the Fear No Evil. Bobat finds a huge kill as Lace dunks down onto nothing right there. Root catching onto 2 right there, as Lace will end up eating a Neith Root stun right there. Korinyo trying to survive as BigManTingz clone, doing a huge bit of damage right there. Moex coming to the party, slowly but surely. He's on the left-hand side of this map. As Gamehunter now also joining the fray. We'll see Korinyo backing off to safety. He's going to be back in base as the rest of Torpedo looking to sink on through to this tower and push it down as best they can. Lace finds a double tap on the Moex right there for a nice bit of damage, but the rain of arrows will begin onto the tower, and Torpedo setting up a siege of their own and doing a lot of work onto it. They may not kill it, but they will set up a ton of damage to be prepared to kill it later on in the engagement, as they've got buffs of their own to farm up. So luck is them move towards the jungle and look for farms. It looks like actually Pikachus have backed off, so this could be a tower secure.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be a tower security. I don't see any defenses being made to keep that tower, so that's another tier 1 going over to Torpedo. More objective gold in their favor, now reaching about a 6k gold difference.
Yeah, a very, very healthy lead for Torpedo here, and so far they've done a very solid job of playing it safe enough to not give too much of an advantage here, but actually trying to press their advantage, and that's one of the big things you want to do versus a Hell XBalanque. You shut them out, but you don't focus too hard, and you don't over-aggress and end up giving up too much here. And that was realistically one of Torpedo's really big problems back in the day when there was instinct here. As we see another fight coming from NinjaBobat here, they could find some big engagements here, but Darzer and Lace doing an incredible job keeping themselves safe right there. So the back off will come on through. That's an ultimate burned away from Torpedo right there.
So now it looks like Torpedo is just going to kind of relax a little bit, start to farm up. BigManTingz kind of chilling in the mid-camp section. Did try to steal it, but unfortunately not going to be able to do so. Over in the left side of the map, Neith is going to be met with XBalanque. A bit of an experience difference between them. 1 level ahead, Neith. And over in the middle lane, it's a story of about a 1 level difference. So good comeback by Angry Pikachus, but you can still see the difference in itemization by Korinyo and Darzer, and that all being just in general a overall global difference in gold, which is heavily impacting Agni's damage.
It's heavily impacting the map in general, all over the place here in every single roar right now. Moex still doing some solid damage compared to XBalanque, who still does not have a kill online. He'll get some damage, but he's not going to have the extra free power that he wants, and now he's actually able to trade out against Moex right here, doing a good job of it. Bushy actually coming out almost ahead in the engagement, but it was mostly just time buying. It seems the rest of Torpedo have arrived, and Angry Pikachu's not going to fall for this one. They're going to get away from any kind of engagement, and Pikachu's doing a great job of not giving up too much in these fights. Even when they've lost some of these fights, they haven't come out too far behind in them usually. It's been a lot of small but slow victories from Torpedo.
The TP! They're going
for it right here. Yeah, and Angry Pikachu's unfortunately know nothing about it, it seems. They've got an inkling as Lace actually will spot it, but it's burning incredibly fast. Bushyyy might find the flank though. Axtos coming out through for the first damage should be good enough here. Torpedo secures it. We might see an attempt from the Angry Pikachu here. Darzer Knight's coming on through, but stun only hitting WolfOfEloStreet right there as Moek looking to aggress here. Gamehunter pushing up the back line. Korinyo gets taken incredibly low as BigManTingz looking to be an aggressive support right now. He's going to try to find a way through for the rest of his team, getting absolutely demolished from the back line here. Lace gets pulled in by the clutches of WolfOfEloStreet right there, bearing his fangs. Will almost find the kill. One more second though, but Lace falls short as a double comes through for NinjaBobat. Stun will find BigManTingz as he goes up onto his cloud of destiny right there, looking for a way out, but I think there's no option left. He could try to fight Korinyo, but unfortunately, he should be going down here, but he does get the 70 transformations off instead. Bird of Nope will carry him away to safety, and now Angry Pikachus might look to try to make plays on the side of the jungle of Torpedo, but they're going to lose tower after tower for it if they don't make something happen.
Yeah, they're trying to make 2 Tier 1 towers for their Tier 1 and Tier 2 tower, it looks like, because if they don't get back to defend the Tier 2 tower, that's definitely gone, and I don't see anybody even able to defend that reasonably, so they're just going to keep trying to push, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're really just taking the losing end of all these trades. The surrender vote definitely showing the frustration for these guys.
I mean, it's a reasonable situation to be frustrated, as even though we're not seeing the lag at this point, the lag is still occurring from my understanding here. It's just not affecting Spectator right now. So, like we said before, this is not a very good way to gauge these teams right here, but so far, it's definitely a very frustrating situation for both sides, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you talk about playing for a lot of money being hindered by a little bit of lag. That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Like, that is a frustrating situation for everybody involved.
Yeah,
now, Lace actually getting caught out here by Moex, and Moex doing tons of damage to him right here. We'll see a back command from Bushyyy, but he will spot Moex in time. Body block coming on through, and now he actually might look to duel and get this kill here. Moex is going to barely get away as the extended range does fade from Bushyyy right there, but Bushyyy dueling really well so far.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job, but at the same time, he is a Xbalanque. I hope that as the game progresses, he's A-okay in boxing with Neith. Not necessarily winning all the time, but after a certain point, you have to do something. And he doesn't have any kills under his belt just yet. Hasn't exactly gotten a lot of assists. His team only has 3 kills, so he can't exactly get ahead. But he is the highest goal on his team, so that's one thing that you can definitely lay your hat on if you are Angry Pikachus.
I mean, there's a lot of hope being put into Lopez and the Bushyyy so far, and, well, both of them have proved they can carry in the past, and now it's up to them to step up to the plate and be the carries the Pikachus need. The problem is Torpedo's doing a solid job of preventing these carry attempts here, but, well, like I said, they've shown they can do it in the past, and they might be able to pull it off again, as we've seen one too many comebacks in EU to count somebody out at this point, especially with the Hell in Xbalanque.
Yeah, Hell Xbalanque is the dynamic deal. One healing and one just doing a ridiculous amount of damage. And then on top of that, you still have the Thor, who has a lot of CC available to him. You still have Wukong, a lot of CC to him. And speaking of Wukong, actually going for a very, very utility-focused build. He has the Sovereignty. Now I'm assuming going into the... I want to assume he's going for the Bulwark. I want to assume that, because he needs survivability. But he might go for something else.
I want to assume that as well, but unfortunately at the same time, Torpedo making a work play right here, going actually into base racing Angry Pikachus here as they tried to go for a kill. They do get the kill, and now they're trying to base race this, but they're going to lose a Phoenix and trade instead. And actually, this might be a game-ending base race here unless somebody gets back in time. It looks like they're all just pressing onto the tower here, with the Phoenix falling very, very rapidly for Angry Pikachus here. And Torpedo going to back off, get the first Phoenix, and they should make it back in time to defend their Tier 2. For sure, right there is Gamehunter arriving 1 versus 3. He's tanking up to handle it. That's going to be a horrible trade there for the Angry Pikachus.
Angry Pikachus, again, just losing all the trade battles. A lot of the time, we see Torpedo make a play. They make a play to where they get the definite advantage. Xbalanque trying to get something done for his team with that ultimate, but not necessarily anything available. Not really sure what he could do there. However, Agni coming over is going to be able to land a lot of burst damage on the Jace. And in fact, Lace just, he just starts the back animation. He knows that he wasn't escaping. In fact, I think he's a little frustrated right now.
I think it's a very fair position to be frustrated in right now as well. As now Bushy trying to do what he can so far, but Khepri simply dashes on through for the kill. As now Gamehunter in the back lines. Bushy looking for that first kill. We've got a Neith arrow incoming. Korinyo will be saved by the Fel. For the ring of a Neith ultimate there as Bushy going to be locked down and popped down like an anise. As NinjaBobat pressing on through. Gamehunter will secure the kill, and they're crushing them under feet here as Angry Pikachus. I think they've fallen too far down, and there's too much else going on to really be able to rely on this comeback potential. It's going to require absolute perfect play, and in these conditions, that's going to be tough to deliver.
Perfect play is an understatement. You basically have to give up a couple of objectives over and over again. Find some great fights under like big ones, like the Fire Giant. You have to definitely find a big play under that. You have to find a big play under your Phoenix. Tier 2 tower, probably not the best thing to try and fight for.
And right now, actually, Torpedo going to start up the Fire Giant, and Angry Pikachu's slightly out of position for the fight here. We could see an attempt from Lace, but it'd be a hard fought one for him and an unlikely one as Torpedo shredding through the Fire Giant with basics right now, shredding through with sustained damage. They've got plenty of burst when the time comes here. Fire Giant going to be secured very easily for them as now Torpedo looking to get aggressive here. BigManTingz knows what's just happened. And it looks like Angry Pikachu is too far spread out to really make anything happen. Torpedo will instead opt to push on down the mid lane as Angry Pikachu try to secure something off the back of it, but instead they're going to lose a tower and hopefully not another Phoenix again.
So over in the tier 2 tower, that's going to be taken out pretty quickly. Meanwhile, still playing the base race game, Angry Pikachu's. Again, you need this fight. You need to make some kind of fight. You're not going to win a base race.
Yeah, they're trying to pull the base race off here. Hell, we'll finally go back, and now the only person pushing the base will be Lace right here. But Darzer already dead. This should be a guaranteed 3 Phoenixes actually right here. As unfortunately Torpedo, there's not enough damage, not enough tankiness to really stop them. They've got 2 members flipping the side of Angry Pikachu's here, and 2 defending versus 5 Fire Giant members of Torpedo. They're just going to wash on through, take the Phoenixes, and now they've got Fire Minions pouring into the Fire Giant right here. Lace will finally make his way back, but JustLofes likely to get demolished from the map. He will survive for now, but the Path of Flames and Flame Wave doing work against him right here. Not to see who will take on down, but I think this is it. The Titan tickets away from death, and there we go, 17-4 at a 25-minute mark. Torpedo will pull out a win as Angry Pikachu's play a frustrating game for them right there in the 4th game of the Challengers Cup.
Well, I mean, you know, Angry Pikachus, they gave it their best. They didn't necessarily make it to the late game point that they wanted to get to, and, you know, to extend that thought, I think that there wasn't really a lot of opportunity for them to do so in their play style. I mean, Hell was kind of just left off on her own. She didn't really have a lot of wards. She bought wards, 6 of them total, but I think that number needed to be about double because in the laning phase you have to be so conscious of where Batz is. Unless you have beads really early on, or unless you have something in your favor really early on, you just have to be so conscious of any kind of, you know, gank presence. It's not an easy thing to be a Hell in an aggressive style team comp like the guys, you know, they had. It was Torpedo had such an aggressive team comp in that soul lane, and with that, you know, Batz, it was really a hard bid to say, all right, you can just kind of chill out there. And plus, they even built pretty well against it. Pestilence, Brawlers, Beat Sticks. I mean, they knew what they were getting into. 2 Pestilences. Pestilence Eye.
Yeah, I think we'll just go with Pestilences right here. Torpedo, like I said, obviously knew exactly what they're getting into. The healing reduction was absolutely massive from them. They got ahead enough to where their damage would be unstoppable. And if it was anything like the previous games we've seen, and with how much their comp requires picture-perfect play, especially if you fall behind ever so slightly, unfortunately, I think the position requirements are far too much of the current conditions. So, like just like that, Pikachu's fell behind and Torpedo ran away with the game, showing knowledge and able to push on through with this one. But we've got 2 more games to bring you guys, and hopefully they're good ones. So we'll be right back as we get ready to prep and spectate the next 2 games. Don't go into this. Smite Games Challenger Cup brought to you by Tier Monster and hi-rez Studios. We'll be right back.